Praise the Lord. Good to see you. Welcome to today's episode of Wednesdays with Pastor K. What a joy it is to be your host once again. I'm so excited. It's Wednesday again, and I believe you are also always looking forward to Wednesdays with Pastor K like I do, and I believe that we're going to have an awesome time. Awesome. Please like the feed, share, comment, and let's get our world into this room. And happy Wednesday night to everyone that is tuned in. Today it's Wednesday, and I'm so excited to be with you, to be spending the next few minutes with you. And I believe it's going to be awesome. And, last week we concluded the series titled The Importance of Having a Vision. The importance of having a vision. And I believe that we are blessed by that. We spoke that we got to deliberate that having a vision, especially a personal vision, it's very important and it's very paramount for us to thrive in this life. It's so hot. It's so hot, and I believe you're affected by the heat as well. I'm so affected by the heat. And even now, it's too hot. I'm feeling this heat. It's quite very bad. I think in the afternoon when I was driving, I checked, it was about 32 degrees. So I was speaking to this cousin of mine, and he said to me, you know what, this is nothing. He's from Richards Bay, and he says they reach a temperature of about 44 degrees. I'm like, 44 degrees? Sure. I don't see myself surviving that kind of heat. Yeah, but welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And I believe that you and I are going to have an awesome time today. And I'm going to ask you to please share the feed so that people that follow you can also come into this room. And let's all share the wisdom together. And I just want to quickly welcome the people that have tuned in. I see here we have Mukhadi Ayanda watching on Facebook. Welcome, Ayanda. Good to see you. And we have Pumzile Petla watching on Facebook as well. Welcome, Pumzile. Good to see you. We have Patuchezo watching on Facebook. Welcome, Patuchezo. Good to see you. And we have Craig Fell watching on Facebook. Welcome, Craig. Good to see you, man. And we have Bafana Chipangosi watching on Facebook. Welcome, Bafana Ngosi. Good to see you. And we have RK Molefe. Mema Molefe, good to see you. Welcome to today's episode of Wednesdays with Pastor K. So, last week we concluded on the series of the importance of having a vision. I just want to quickly recap, and then we will start with today's topic. We have Matibello Mfuken watching on YouTube. Welcome, Matibello. Good to see you. So last week we said that having a vision helps you overcome obstacles along the way. We said it helps you overcome obstacles along the way. It helps you to stay the course when things get tough. Every time we are faced with obstacles in life, it helps for you to have a vision for where you're going, because that's the only way you can be able to navigate through those obstacles. But if you don't have a vision, I'm telling you, obstacles will be a hindrance to you. Obstacles will be like a dead end to you, because you don't really know where you're going anyway. But the moment you have a vision, then you know that you might either take a detour but come back onto the journey, because you do have a vision. You know exactly where you're going. So it's very important and very paramount that we do have a vision so that we are able to hold on even when storms come. A vision creates self-discipline. That's what I like about having a vision. That's what we said last week, that vision creates self-discipline. You become more self-disciplined if you have a vision. Without vision, my people perish. That's what the Bible teaches you and I. Without vision, people perish. So if you have a vision, then it creates self-discipline, meaning that you are focused because you know where you are headed to. You're focused because you know where your map is taking you. And number 6, for last week, we said vision attracts resources. Vision attracts resources. There is no way we can attract resources if we do not have a vision. The moment you have a vision, or the moment you start putting together a vision or implementing your vision, you will realize that resources will begin to come, because God does not supply for somebody with no vision. Provision comes for a vision. So if God has to provide for you, you must have a vision. That is why you can engage with Jehovah Jireh if you do have a vision. If you don't have a vision, Jehovah Jireh is not applicable to you. And without vision, there won't be provision. Without vision, you are not aware of what you could possibly require. That was very powerful. I found that very powerful. That without vision, you are not aware of what you could possibly require. There are things that we realize once we are in the journey that we are traveling and the vision that we are pursuing. We realize that, okay, I'm going to need this for the next phase of my vision. I'm going to need that for the next phase of my vision. And we realize that once we are in the vision, and we have the vision, therefore you get to realize the things you might require. Like, for instance, now I'm in the vision, I'm doing ministry now. I realize that there are things I need cash flow in order to run ministry. I need finances, to build. I need finances to put everything I need together. It requires finances, and that I'm realizing because I do have a vision. I know where I'm going, and for as long as you know where you're going, then there must be provision. There must be provision for you to travel that journey. And Dr. Miles Monroe says, when you believe in your dream and your vision, then it begins to attract its own resources. It begins to attract its own resources, meaning that every vision has its own resources, right? Yeah. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, Balungile Mashazi. She's watching on Facebook. And we also have Naledi Ngosi. Wow, surprise, surprise, surprise. Never seen you on Wednesdays with Pastor K. It's been a while. Welcome, Naledi Ngosi. Good to see you. And so we're talking about goal versus vision. That's what we spoke about last week. The goal versus vision. We said vision is the destination and a goal is a way to get there. Vision is the destination and a goal is a way to get there. That's the difference between a goal and a vision. Vision is destination, and a goal is a way to get to the destination. Knowing your vision will help fuel your goal setting activities. It fuels your goal setting activities. Visionaries, they always have something to do on a daily basis, and they always look at their signboard to see, okay, where are we going? What do we need in this season? What do we need for the next level? What do we need for the step that we are currently experiencing? We need to have a vision, and I also got to help people that had questions on how to discover their vision. Those who do not have a vision currently, or those who do not even know their earthly purpose, and I gave them the following 8 things to go look at in order for them to discover their vision or to discover their purpose. I said, number 1, what do you want to do with your life? That's a question you need to ask yourself. You must be able to answer that. What is it that you want to do with your life? Secondly, what items on your to-do list are not aligned with that vision? What items on your to-do list are not aligned with that vision? Number 3, we said, what are you inspired to do? What are you inspired to do? What drives you? What inspires you? What are you inspired to do? Number 4, we said, what do you love to do? What do you love to do? What are you passionate about? What do you love to do? Number 5, we said, what would you like to be known for? It's a question. You need to be able to answer that. What is it that you would like to be known for? By answering these questions, you're formulating your vision. You're putting together your vision. Number 6, we said, what kind of impact would you like to leave in your community? What kind of impact would you like to leave in your community? And number 7, what current brands do you enjoy? What current brands do you enjoy? When we are talking brands, we are talking people. We are talking people. The moment you start investing in yourself and the moment you start discovering your vision and you work hard as an individual and as a brand in building yourself as a brand, then you become a brand. And today I'm saying to you, what current brands do you enjoy? You know, and number 8, how do your friends and family view you as a brand? How do they view you as a brand? You need to understand that and you need to develop yourself as a brand. You need to build yourself as a brand. Do what we call brand building. You must build yourself. And you can tap into the power of God's vision for your life by meditating on the scriptures of God's promise for your life. That's how you tap into God's vision for your life, by meditating on the scriptures of God's promises for your life. That's what we concluded last week. And I believe that it was powerful. I believe that it blessed you. And today we have an interesting topic titled, Don't Despise Learning from Others. Don't despise learning from others. That's a very important thing that you and I have to know. That's today's topic. Never despise learning from others. The moment you get to a point or to a place where you feel like you know everything, you must know you're starting to fail. It is the beginning of your end. It is the beginning of you losing the way. There is no way that we can know everything. You can never know everything. There's been countless numbers of people who have been on planet Earth ever since the Lord He created man. And I'm telling you, there are people who have been here before you and I. There are people who have been on earth before you and I. There are people who did what I am doing right now. They've done it from years ago, and some are still doing it even today. And the worst thing I can ever think is to think I know everything. So, what am I saying to you? I'm saying to you, no one knows everything. No one knows everything. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. And even people around you don't know everything. That is why we have to learn from others. What you don't know, somebody knows. What you don't know, somebody knows. If you don't know what it's like to be a millionaire, somebody knows what it's like to be a millionaire. If you don't know what it's like to have 100,000 in your bank account, somebody out there knows what it's like to have 100,000 in their bank account. If you are not yet married, somebody out there is married. There are many people who are married. If you don't know what it's like to live in a 3-story house, somebody knows. Meaning that there's always somebody who's living the life that you and I desire. There's always somebody who has experienced what you would love to experience. There's always people who know what we don't know. And you'll discover that you also know what they do not know. That's how life is. That's how life is. We've got to I mean, learning from others for me is humility. It is humility. And it is very important that we humble ourselves enough to learn from other people, because if you can't learn from other people, then you're limited as an individual. Learning from others spreads your horizons. It broadens your horizons. And if you refuse to learn from other people, then you are limited as an individual. And by learning from other people, you will broaden your understanding and you will broaden your scope of the things that you know. No one knows everything, and by learning from others, you turbocharge your career. By learning from others, you turbocharge your career. There's so much that we do not know, and each and every one of us, right on this broadcast, there's something that we know that somebody else does not know. And there's something that other people know that we do not know. You engage in what we call wisdom exchange if you learn from others. You engage with what we call wisdom exchange. If you teach me something and I teach you something, what are we doing? We are exchanging wisdom. We are exchanging wisdom. And that is why I say, when you learn from other people, you turbocharge your career. You turbocharge your career because it gives you an advantage. Once you know something, then you are able to teach others of what you know. It gives you the upper hand concerning that which you know. Everyone you meet has a vault of experience and knowledge. That's what we need to know about people. People are carriers of knowledge. People are carriers of destinies. People are carriers of things that other people need. People are solutions. When you're looking for a solution, that solution is somebody else or it's in somebody else. You must understand that whatever it is that you will ever need in life, somebody can help you achieve that. Somebody can help you acquire that. So there'll always be somebody who has a solution. So people are carriers of destinies. People are carriers of solutions. If you need help on certain things in life, somebody can help you do that. Somebody can help you do that. Welcome, men of God. Pastor Jabu Jamin is online. Welcome, my dear brother. Good to see you. And we have to understand these things. Many people out there are gurus in a certain field. Many people out there are gurus in a certain field. Yeah, I like that. Ayanda says, isiZulu City, indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili. Absolutely. That's how we learn. That's how we learn. The moment you get to a stage where you feel that, no, I'm not interested in what they know, I'm not interested in learning from them, then you're limiting yourself. But like I said, many people out there are gurus in a certain field. I'm not sure which field you are interested in. If you want to become an artist, if you want to become a teacher, if you want to become a CEO, whatever it is that you want to become, you must know somebody's a guru in that field. Somebody's a guru in that field. And you've got to learn from those who have traveled that journey you're interested in traveling or you're looking forward to travel. You must be able to learn from certain people. In Africa, we believe that old men or women are a library. They say if they die without pouring into someone else, when they die, said the whole library has burned down. Sure, I like that analogy. I like that, Patricia. That's very good. That's very good. Their level of knowledge in their specialty or specialty area runs deep. It runs deep. So when I say people are gurus, it means that their level of knowledge in that specialty area runs deep. There are people with such deep knowledge in certain areas, in certain fields of our lives. And whatever it is that you want to learn, there's always somebody who's getting ready to teach you. Some of us who are employed by somebody, when you started working for that organization or company, somebody had to train you in doing what you do on a daily basis. That's how it is. Somebody out there already knows what you want to learn. One common thing about super successful people that they will always tell you about the person. Oh, okay, that again. I think I'll express it this way. One common thing about super successful people is that they will always tell you about the person that helped them along the way. You can learn that from every great person. They will tell you about people who helped them along the way. Nobody makes it by themselves. Nobody. Nobody. That is why we must always be prepared to hand over the baton or to receive the baton from somebody who's ahead of us. You will learn in this life that every great person can always point you to somebody who made things happen for them, to somebody who taught them how to do what they want to do. Somebody out there who's in property, Patricia's will understand me better. Somebody out there who's in property and they're an expert in the property, in the field of property, you'd realize that somebody opened up that door for them and they taught them secrets concerning that field. Everything that we do, you must know that somebody is an expert in that field. Somebody might be an expert in that field. Now, these people, like I say, every great person will always refer you to somebody who helped them, somebody who's been a guide for them in the journey that they're traveling. They acknowledge that they didn't make it on their own. They acknowledge that they didn't make it on their own. Tomorrow, when we are up there, you and I, then somehow we tend to forget that we didn't make it on our own. There must be somebody who pulled you by the hand and said, let me teach you how to do this. Excuse me. Let me teach you how to do this thing. There must be somebody who's always there to help you. Always focus on we, not I. Always focus on we, not I. Why? Because I is very limited. I is very limited. Always focus on we and not I. The moment you say, I did this, I am doing this, I have done this, I am going to do this, I can do this, I can do that, nobody can help me with this, I can do it by myself. You must know you are limited because there is no way you can see all angles in this life. There is no way. There is no way. Only God has the capacity. Only God has the ability to see that way, not men. Human beings are limited. We are limited, and therefore, by learning from others, then you are broadening your scope in certain fields of your life. You're broadening your understanding because you are learning different views and you're bringing all those views together. And as they become one, then we call it wisdom. That's how people become wise. They learn from the great. They learn from the people who have traveled the journey they are traveling. So we've got to learn from others. We've got to learn from others. Now, these people, they usually thank everyone who was part of their journey. Great people who always point to their team, people who worked with them. What they do is that they usually thank everyone who was part of their journey. That's what we need to learn in life. Those are the things that we ought to do in life. You must learn to always thank people who were part of your journey. There is no way you can do it alone. There is no way you can make it alone. There is no way. There is no way. If you become a matric certificate holder, it's because there are people who taught you in all those school years, your primary school years and your high school years. Somebody taught you. And when you get to university, somebody else teaches you. There are people who are going to teach you there. And tomorrow, when you get to that place of reaching the pinnacle of your career, you must know there are people who played a role for you to get to where you are. You can't just make it by yourself. There is no way. There is no way. And these kind of people that I'm talking about, their language is always my parents. They can say my parents, I wouldn't be who I am if it was not because of my parents. They would say, I wouldn't have done what I've done in life if it was not because of my mentors. I wouldn't have achieved what I've achieved if it were not for my teammates. I would not have acquired the things I have had it not been for my sponsors. You see what I'm saying? Now, if, for instance, if you're running an MPO or an NGO, then you are relying on funders, you're relying on sponsors, you're relying on people that will fund the vision that you have. So you must always give credit that there are people who made it possible for you to reach that goal or to reach or to do exploits when it comes to the vision that you have. Thank you, men of God. Pastor Jabu says, good teaching and analogy also. God bless you, sir. Now, to evolve as a person, you need to embrace openness. You need to embrace openness and civility. Openness and civility. You need to be civil with people. Be civil with people. Never have the attitude of pride. Never have the attitude of saying, I don't need you. I can make it on myself. That's pride. That's pride. That is why, if you want to make it in life, you must embrace openness and civility. You must embrace openness and civility always. And I'm telling you, if you do that, you will do wonders. You will excel in life. You will do great things in life. We don't all see the same thing. That's what we need to understand. As human beings, we don't all see the same thing. And that is why you need other people who see a different perspective than what you see. Perspective is never the same. It's never the same. So it's very important that we open ourselves to learning from other people, because we don't all see the same thing. It is very important to learn from others. It's very important to learn from those who have traveled the journey we are traveling before us. It's very important that we learn from others. You will never get ahead if you don't learn from those who are ahead in your field. You will never get ahead if you don't learn from those who are ahead in your field. Everything that you're doing, be it professionally and otherwise, just know that somebody out there has done it before, or somebody is doing it, or they've been doing it for quite some time. If you know of a great person, just know that if that person is great in the area that you are interested in pursuing, that will be a person you ought to learn from. You ought to learn from. That's a person you ought to learn from. If you're not curious about things, it's hard to gain fresh knowledge. I like that. If you're not curious about things, it's hard to gain fresh knowledge. It will be hard to gain fresh knowledge. That is why the worst thing you can ever, or the worst space you can ever be in, is when you get to a point where you feel that nobody can teach you anything, or you get to a point where you feel like you know everything. Then you must know. You must know. It will be hard for you to gain fresh knowledge. It will be very hard. Ayanda says, we now accept the fact that learning is a lifelong process of keeping abreast of change. And the most pressing task is to teach people how to learn. Be interested in learning. Be interested in learning. We learn from somebody every single day. And here's the thing, we learn every day. We learn every day. Always open yourself up to learning. Always open yourself up to learning. Now, always also ask questions. It's important to ask questions about the things you don't understand. You must always be prepared to ask questions about the things you don't understand. There are things you don't understand, and there are people who know those things, and they do understand those things. Yeah, Tammy says each piece of wisdom learned from someone ahead is like an extra year added to a lifetime. I like that, Tammy. That's very good. That's very good. It's like an extra year added to a lifetime. That's powerful. That's powerful. Wisdom from older people. Now, that's a very important one. The wisdom from older people. Never despise learning from older people. Why? They've lived more years or many years than you. If your mother is 50 years, if your father is 50 years, and you are only 20, trust me, they are your best teacher. They are your best teacher. Learn from older people. They know what you don't know. They know what you don't know. No matter how clever you think you can be as a 20-year-old, you will never know more than a 50-year-old. You will never. There's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot, or there's still a long journey for you to grow. And humility is learning from those who have traveled the journey that you're traveling before you get there. And it helps you because it gives you an advantage, because you get to learn what they know while you're still 20 and they are 50. Wisdom from older people, I guess that's one of the important areas that we can learn from, because these people have been here long before us. They know the tricks. They know the tricks. Lessons I've learned from my father. Lessons I've learned from my father. I'll share one of the things I've learned from my father. You know, my father was a very wise man, and I learned so much from him. And one of the things he taught me, I remember when I was still young, you know, enjoying my teenage years, and having started working at a very young age, and I was enjoying life with friends. And I'm sure some of us here watching know what it's like to come back late at night, and to come back also early hours of the morning. And I'm sure if you've been in that route, or you've traveled that route, you know that's what will make you fight with your parents, and that's what will get you at loggerheads with your older people, you know. And now I was now learning this thing of driving at night, partying with friends, hanging around with friends, having fun, and all those things, because I was already working, and I was earning a good salary, driving a nice car. And for me, fun was always at the top of my agenda. And I remember one time, or let me backtrack a little. My dad will always fight with me when I get home very late, when I get home probably maybe at midnight, when I get home around 11ish and all that. My dad will always shout at me. He would always yell at me, and he would promise to hit me. And I never used to understand him. I never used to understand that, because I felt like, you know what, he's interfering with my fun. He's interfering with the kind of fun I want to have. I enjoyed being with friends, and I know with many of us years ago, that's what made us move out of our parents' home, because we wanted this freedom, we wanted this independence. But allow me to tell you, you need those people. Only when you are older and you look back, you're like, this person was looking out for me. My father wanted me to have a better life. My mother wanted me to have a better life. So I used to live that kind of a life that now I would want to sneak in at home, you know, at early hours of the morning, because if my father sees me, then there's gonna be trouble. He's gonna shout at me, or he's gonna beat me up. And I remember one time I was using my father's car, and I got home at midnight. I think it was around 2 a.m. And just after I parked the car, and I just finished locking the doors. And as I tried to sneak into my bedroom, my dad was sitting in the dark. And as I tried to pass, he switched on the light, and he said, "Where have you been?" And imagine that shock. You are not expecting somebody to be there. And all of a sudden, you hear this voice, this loud voice. "Where have you been? How many times must I tell you not to roam around at night? How many times must I tell you?" And for me, it was like, you know what? This guy is just interfering with the kind of life I want to live. And it's so tiring for me. But here's the thing that my father said to me that night. He said to me, there can only be three reasons. There can only be three reasons why you roam around at night. He said there can only be three reasons. And he said, number one, you are either a thief. You are either a thief. Number two, you are either a womanizer. meaning that you're busy with girls all night. Number 3, he said, or it's either you are a drunkard. It's either you are a drunkard. Believe you me, there is no way. He says nobody can roam around at night or midnight if they don't do all of the 3 or any of the 3 things I've mentioned. And you know what? My dad nailed it. I was drinking, out partying with friends. I was drinking. Then followed a womanizer. Then I realized that if I didn't know or I didn't think that this man can track what I was doing at night when he didn't see me, but he was able to predict that which I was doing. What made him know? It's because he has traveled this journey before. It's because he's lived longer than I have lived. There is nothing you can do that your mother and your father do not know. They have traveled this journey before you. It will help you to listen to them because they are not doing this to try and limit you. They are doing this to try and protect you and to help you to live a better life. Up until today, I honor my father for the lessons that he has taught me. He wasn't asking me to respond, but he said, it's either you're doing any of the 3 things, and all of them, they will cause you to fail in life. And he was right. If you become a thief, because people that roam around at night are people who do house burglaries, they break into people's houses. These are thieves. They steal from other people or they hijack cars. These are thieves. Or if you're a thief, chances of you dying before your time are very high because you can break into somebody's house and they can shoot you, or you can end up in jail, or you can be a womanizer. You can catch terminal diseases. You can die before your time through sickness and diseases, or you can get an accident because you're a drunkard and you're driving. You are drinking alcohol and you're driving. You're drinking and driving. It's against the law. You can end up in jail, or you can be involved in an accident and you can lose your life. You will always learn from people who are ahead of you. Never despise learning from people who are ahead of you. Never, never despise that. Never despise that. Yeah, just want to check the comments here and let's see what our people are saying today. Let's see what people we have are saying. And Pastor Jabu says, mentors are teachers of wisdom. Yeah. And Patricia says, wisdom from older people, they give you out of experience, not from books. Absolutely. And Bafana Ngosi says, wisdom from older people, no matter how learned you are, there are things that are taught by time. Absolutely. There are things that nothing can teach you but time. And Mpoma Lubege says, that's true, Dad. Everyone has a different experience, knowledge, and skills that they can share, and learning from others allows us to gain different perspectives, to expand our understanding and acquire new knowledge or skills that may not be been aware of before. That's very true. Yeah, Patricia says, Papa nailed it with those 3 points. That's my father there. And Pastor Jabu says, focus often creates blindness when you are looking north. You cannot see south. Someone else is needed for your protection. So God provides a mentor. That's very true. God provides a mentor. Mpo says, Mpo Malibani is watching on YouTube. Welcome, Mpo. And Mpo says, people are also destiny helpers, and this is through their experience and knowledge, and you can only access that by humbling yourself enough to learn from them. Absolutely, I fully agree with you, Mpo. Then I'm going to give you the 6 benefits of learning from others, then I'm going to close. 6 benefits of learning from others. Number 1, learning from others expands your knowledge in areas you are lacking in. It expands your knowledge in the areas you are lacking in. That's what learning from others will help you do. It helps you expand your knowledge in areas you are lacking in. There are areas that you and I are lacking in, but learning from others helps us expand our knowledge in those areas. That's how quick you can learn. That's how quick you can learn. Remember to interact with me by sending questions, and let's take it from there. I mean, let's interact with one another. There are maybe questions with regards to the topic I'm discussing now. Please engage with me in that area. So, learning from others helps you in the areas that you are lacking in. Like I said now, each and every one of us, there's a certain area that we are lacking in. And by learning from others, we are broadening our horizons. Number 2, learning from others is like casting down a wide net. It's like casting down a wide net. You must remember, if there's plenty of fish, but you've got a small net, you can only catch a small amount of fish. But if you've got a wide net, you can catch plenty of fish at a time. Why? Because you are casting down a wide net. Cast down a wide net. When do you do that? When you learn from others. When you spend time listening from those who are ahead of you. When you spend time listening to people who carry wisdom within them. When you spend time listening to those whom God has graced or engraced with a lot of wisdom. By so doing, you are casting down a wide net for your life. And you'll catch a lot of knowledge. You will catch so much because you're casting down a wide net. Bafana Nkosi says, God uses man as answers and solutions. He gave man as a gift or as gifts to teach and build his church. That's very true. That's very true. Number 3, one other thing about learning from others is that it saves you a lot of pain. It saves you a lot of pain. You can save yourself from a lot of pain if you can listen to those who are ahead of you. Listen to those who are ahead of you. If your mother tells you that this lady or this guy is not good for you, is not good for you. Older people can be discerning. Older people have experience. Don't try and prove for yourself, but listen to them, because it might be God speaking through them to you. But because you want to experience it by yourself, then you are opening up yourself to the place of pain. Because learning from others will save you a lot of pain. Now, let's say now you continue with this person that your mother or your father warned you about, and you continue with this person. Let's say maybe you are a young girl or a woman. Then tomorrow you're pregnant with this person's child, and then this person disappears on you. You're left with a child. You're left with a child. And tomorrow you're going to have to answer to that child, what happened to their father, who's their father. And their father is nowhere to be found because they disappeared on you. That's pain that you could have avoided had you listened to your parents or your elders. Now, learning from others will save you a lot of unnecessary pain because they know better than you will ever know. They know better than you would ever know. By listening to them, you're saving yourself from so much pain that you could have avoided by listening to them. There are certain people who will give you advice that if you don't stop 1, 2, 3, it's going to cause you to fail in life, or you will end up failing in this area of your life. But if you are stubborn and you don't want to listen to advice, you don't want to listen to their wisdom, you don't want to listen to the experience they have in that field, then you'll be forced to experience that pain yourself. Why? Because you failed to receive instruction and warning from those who have traveled that journey before. So learning from others saves you a lot of pain. It saves you a lot of pain. If you listen to somebody you want to get into debt, and somebody tells you that no, don't get into debt, it's not worth it. You're gonna mess up your life. You're gonna mess up your credit profile. You're gonna get to a point where you won't be able to pay these debts. So try and avoid debt as much as you can. But because you want so much what you want that car so much, you want that house so much, you want that phone so much, you want those clothes so much, then you get into debt. You rush things, you rush seasons, and tomorrow you're in debt. Now you're insolvent. Now you're on credit bureau. You're now at a position where you need to be rehabilitated. Then you have to lose everything that you have, because now you are now high risk and you can't save the things that you've acquired because they were not yours. Now, when you get to a place where now you can no longer afford with the monthly installments, then you've got to lose everything that you've acquired through debt. And because you refuse to listen, then you find yourself experiencing that challenge in your life because you refuse to listen. Always learn from people who are ahead of you. Always learn from people who have survived that which you want to experience or you want to try out. Number 4, learning from others helps you identify what not to emulate by recognizing poor role models. What not to emulate by recognizing poor role models. Now, it helps you identify the things you need not to do, because there are people who copy other people and they don't really take time to learn, what these people had to go through. And if you're going to emulate somebody else's mistake, then you're gonna end up where they ended up. But by learning from others, then you are able to identify what not to emulate, which is what not to repeat, what not to do, through looking at their lives by recognizing poor role models. Now, you must check people out in your life, and what will teach you. People are best teachers, and their lives are best teachers as well. So you can learn from people's lives by learning from their mistakes. So it helps you to recognize poor role models. There are people who are poor role models, and we have to learn from them. And number 5, learning from others saves you a lot of money. Learning from others saves you a lot of money. It will save you a lot of money. Imagine if there, like for instance, I'm not sure if maybe you might be vested in knowledge in that area, but when it comes to cars, engineering and engines and all those things, I don't know anything. All I know is just to make sure it's just that the car needs water, and the engine needs the oil as well. It needs water and it needs petrol. That's all I know. And basic things like tires and all those things. But how to assemble the engine, and if a car gives me problem, for me to predict what could be the problem, I'm not an expert in that area. So because I'm not an expert in that area, it does not necessarily mean that if there's something that is happening with my car, or there's that little bit of noise that is coming somewhere from the car, at times it does not necessarily mean that I have to rush to whatever brand it is that you're driving, or maybe to Nissan, or maybe to Mercedes, or to BMW, or whatever car it is, or VW. It does not necessarily, at times it does not necessarily mean that you have to rush there. But you may find that if you can learn from somebody who knows, or who is a mechanic, and they are experts in that field, you can just give them a call and say, my car is doing 1, 2, 3. You may find that it might be something that you can do yourself, and they will guide you on what to do in that car. And by so doing, you would have saved yourself a lot of money. But because we don't want to learn from other people, then we always go to the car dealer and we just take the car there. And you may find that it's something that you could have fixed yourself, but you are not open to learn from others. And you end up spending a lot of money for that which you could have learned from somebody else. Tolan says, so true, Dad. This reminds me of a teaching from Dadeba Fanangosi saying, better listen today so that you may avoid regretting tomorrow. I love this teaching. Oh, that's powerful. Thank you, man. Yeah, absolutely. If you learn today, you're saving yourself a lot of heartache for tomorrow. And Bafana says, learning from others saves you a lot of unnecessary life accidents. It saves you from a lot of disappointments in life. Number 6, learning from others makes you smart because you have the advantage to also learn from their mistakes. Learning from others makes you smart because you have the advantage to also learn from their mistakes. Now, that's one of the greatest way and the quickest way to learn. When you learn from other people's mistakes, it means that you don't have to do those mistakes yourself. But if you refuse to learn from other people's mistakes, then you're going to repeat those mistakes yourself. You're going to do those mistakes, and you could have avoided those mistakes if you have learned from other people. So it's important to learn from others. Then you are able, it gives you more advantage because you are able to excel and not to do the mistakes that they did that might have slowed them down, and you won't be slowed down because you've learned in that area. So, yeah, that's what I had for you today. And I believe that from today, you will learn from others and you will live a better life because you will be open to learn from others. I'm not sure if you have already invested in my book, but I want to invite you to please invest in my book. Get a copy of my book, The Call of God, selling for only 200 Rand. Invest in this book, it will bless you. And I believe that it will take you to levels you've never been before. It's got many answers concerning people who are not sure why they are here on earth. It will help you discover your purpose. It will help you discover your why. And by so buying this book, it will bless you. It is only selling for a gift of 200 Rand only. And if you want it, you can direct message me, or you can get it from our website. Visit www.thehouseofprayerministries.co.za, or you can get it from our company, Black Iconic Consulting. Visit www.blackiconic.co.za. I believe those platforms will be able to help you. If you can't, direct message me to get the copy. Thank you so much for tuning in. I believe you're blessed by tonight, and hope to see you again next week, same place, same time. It was so exciting to have you tune in, and I believe you have learned so much. Please do me a favor, share the feed so that people that follow you and did not have a chance to tune in, they can tune in and feed from what we discussed tonight. From me and Wednesdays with Pastor K, we just want to say God bless you. Remember to share the feed. We love you, and we'll see you again next week. Same place, same time. God bless you.